Hello, everybody out there in the world right now. My name is Tom.
And I'm Nate.
And we are Tominator Pictures. You might know us from such films as Weird 2, Universal, Be Blue to Yourself, and our latest show going on, Mobile Suit Gundam Abridged. Not that one, it's another one. It's not, there's more than one. But yeah, we have been very immersed in Gundam, obviously, lately, both editing and just watching a lot of stuff for the sake of the show. And lo and behold, there's a new Gundam property out, Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuX. So we're gonna be yakking about some quacking over here.
Oh, God.
We just both saw the movie.
Yeah.
We have a lot of thoughts because there's lots of stuff to think about. Yeah. So if you want to hear it and you want to hear a review and maybe a little bit of some talking about some future videos that might come out based around it, who knows? Please stay and enjoy the show. But yeah, so Nate, Kiro Senshi Gundam GQuuuuuX. The beginning, or I'm sorry, beginning.
Important.
There is no the. You saw this, I saw this. Like, opening thoughts. What are we thinking? What do we think of this? What do we think of this Evangelion meets Gundam?
I'm really excited for it. Yeah, I'm glad we saw it in the theaters so that we could see that Char beginning that I guess isn't going to be in the streaming, but I can see why they didn't put that in the streaming. But I will say, in terms of like going to see the movie, that was like one of the more fun parts of it for me.
Oh, same. I think the minute that opening sequence starts and it's identical to the original show, like just straight I think almost all of that up until the timeline's completely different. So everything on side 7 is practically shot for shot recreations of the original Mobile Suit Gundam 0079 with, different stuff going on. Because it's this alternate timeline, or what if Char like got through and did it, right? And like that alone is kind of enticing. That got me in the door, to be honest. This whole idea, like I was super like, meh, like it looks cool, like aesthetically it looks cool, but it also had that like, oh, this looks like Evangelion, like is it just gonna be like, hey, I've always wanted to just do Evangelion but with Gundam properties? So I was a little like hesitant, but then when I think you told me this is like a what if scenario where Char wins and like, where do we go from there? I'm like, whoa, buddy, you'd say no more. I could have watched that first half and where it's just like the Char timeline changes and been like, I'm pleased. I can go home now. Like, this is cool. But I think when we were watching it, Amber, who is my wife, she also voices Mirai and Frau, and she played everybody else that wasn't a blue wizard in Be Blue to Yourself, and she was one of the many Al Yankovics. I think her name was, do you remember what yours was Alphonse or Alfonso?
Yeah.
Or Alfredo? Something like that. I don't remember what hers was, but yeah, she was one of the many Al Yankovics in our weird thing. But her and I went to see this together, and we kind of giggled in the beginning because of our show, and afterwards she was just like, all I could hear was Nate doing the intro for for when they're like, the year is 0079 of the universal century, and it's just like, yeah, me too. Like, that's all I thought in my head. I just hear you like, the year is 0079 of the universal century, and they still managed to fuck it up. And I'm like, oh God, here we go.
We've overwritten it for ourselves.
I liked it. Oh yeah, and so maybe you will hear Nate or someone do voices for video from GQuuuuuX. Who knows? Maybe that's going to be a thing that happens. I don't know. Maybe you'll see it around when this comes out. I don't know. We'll see what fucking happens. Who knows? Because boy howdy, it is kind of hilarious that like the whole timeline changes because Jean's Zaku gets messed up. It's like in the shop. And so Char has to go. And it's just like, oh, well, okay. Well, that's cool. And it changes all of history. But yeah, no, I thought it was fun. I agree with you. I am glad we saw it in theaters because I would be... Though I'm kind of confused how this show makes sense without all the Char stuff in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking because I think it takes place only like 5 years after the Char stuff. So okay. I think Char's still around and everyone's still there to explain things later. But it's just, it seems very different so far. And in terms of tone, I'm sure like every Gundam series, they're going to end up wound up in some sort of war somehow. But like for now, they're just in that underground fighting ring kind of thing. So we'll see how that comes back up.
That or we're going to do a last 15 episodes of the show, become really, really, really serious, and then end it at episode whatever, 55 or something. I have been as a slight aside, I've been watching Zeta for the first time, and it is suffering from like what I've noticed with almost every Gundam series. Hell, even 08th MS Team suffers from this. Not in like a flagrant way, not like it sucks in the beginning and then it gets like great. It's just like it is very like casual in the beginning and then it just gets like super fucking heavy like the last handful of episodes. The big one I think was Turn A, where I was actually like really bored and struggling to watch this show. Like I was like, man, I guess it's kind of cool, and then all of a sudden it's like the last 15 episodes of like a 50 episode show or so were just like, hey, here's the plot, and it's really serious and it's like a really big deal and it gets really cool, but like boy howdy was it a slog to get there. Zeta, same thing, except everybody hitting each other out of emotional like rage is kind of the saving grace. Like there are at least 2 slaps or punches amongst the hero characters. Not like they're fighting bad guys. I mean like, slap, Camille, you're so stupid. Slap, Fa, you're so stupid. And just like every episode, at least 1 or 2. And it's just so insane. It's like they knew what they were doing and it's kind of shocking. But enough about that. I was mostly just like, I hope GQuuuuuX doesn't suffer from that. Because as much as we can go on about the beginning, which got real crazy real fast, and we'll talk a little bit about the plots and the major highlights here. What did you think of like the actual GQuuuuuX part? Because I do feel like this movie is very split in half, right? Like there is a clear point where like the Char stuff ends, the animation changes, and now we're in, is it side 6? We're on side 6, and it's like... Right. I think it's, I can't remember, but I think it's side 6, which is interesting because if you guys are hardcore Gundam fans, you'll know side 6, I'm pretty sure was the neutral one. So they're all just Zeon now, I guess. But yeah, we start on side 6 where we get to meet our characters. What'd you think of this part? Like, what'd you think of the actual show bit, right?
It's a really stark line. I really appreciate with the original, they used like all these same sound effects and soundtrack and all of that. And then they moved into a very different sound and very different animation style for the new stuff. I think it looks promising. It looks super stylized. And I don't really know that we got enough of it for me to get a feel of where it's going.
Thank you. Yes. Big agree.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to interrupt, but big agree.
No. I just think, I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I think they did introduce the character well enough, and I can see like the vague shape of where it's going, but I think we need to see a little bit more before I can really judge it.
So you think they introduced the character well enough?
Well, just the overall arc. We get the idea.
Yeah.
Of,
like the plot. Yeah, the whole underground Gundam fighting
and why she's there.
Mobile Suit.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah, I have a hope and a mild confidence that the actual show, when it airs, I don't know when this is actually going to go out, but I assume sometime in April. So when the show comes out in April, I assume it'll do a little bit more character-like development for her and the others, because I felt like for the purposes of this, they very clearly cut out a lot of that, like, this is who they are, this is like their slice of life, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, you know, a normal anime, you're going to get that build up to now she's in GQuuuuuX, now she's fighting the rivals, and this is why it's a big deal. Whereas in this, it was just kind of like, it felt to me a little contrived, because she's just sort of there. And I think, like, was it her dad or her mom was like, oh, are you going to go to college? And she was like, I don't know, like, maybe. Or a school of some kind, like a college equivalent. And it was like, I don't know, like, do I have to? Like, I could just make money and blah, blah, blah. And this kind of, like, I don't want to do that, it's boring type thing. To where you get this sort of, like, aimless youth who is also insanely, what's the word for it? Impulsive, which is a theme in this movie. That's
true.
New types are super impulsive. I will say it kind of hit me wrong, man. It hit me a little bit like the Super Saiyan is a tingle in the back from Super. Like, it's not the power of loss. It's just a funny feeling you have. And then kadoosh. Like, okay. And yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, it's easy to hate on something. There are a lot of really cool things about this show, and this, what I assume will be about the show and this movie. Like, for instance, you kind of brought up the animation style. It was different, and when I watched it, a little jarring, because the Char stuff in the beginning feels very much like the Origin movies, where it's like that really, like, highly detailed version of the original stuff, whereas this had style. Like, the characters look a little bit more cartoony, the world looks a little bit more cartoony, things are like softer edges, rounder edges, more like like, you can kind of tell because I'm using a wide angle camera here, so it's like kind of long, lanky, like, you know, like arms and stuff. And so, but it was cool. Like, I liked it. It had, because isn't this the Fooly Cooly guy? Yeah. So you have that. You do see that visually. You see that really all over the place.
The color palettes for it too are just really vibrant.
Very much like her hair, that like bright red hair that she has, or the blue of the kind of dour girl that she's running around with in the beginning. Like, it's all really saturated colors, and it's cool. Like, it is really cool because colors are like a big thing, right? You get the whole color wash of what I'm gonna say is the godhead of new types or some shit. I don't know, but that was like that's my theory. We'll talk theories, but like the post. So like, I guess what I will say is, like, if you go on, I have IMDb up right now. If you go on the IMDb page for this movie, the poster does not do the color palette justice. It is very like drab. Like, they've definitely like dialed the saturation back a little bit. It's like, it looks cool, it looks good, but it's not what the movie looks like. Like, look up screen grabs from it, or if you see like the IMAX poster is a little bit more true to form. It's got kind of that vibrant. I'm like just scrolling through posters right now. I'm like, oh, look at this. Like, these things, I could actually just like share my screen with Nate, and I'll show you guys in the video. If you're watching this right now, you could probably see this. Look at that. Oh my God. Isn't the video podcast type stuff amazing? But yeah, this is the poster. I mean, it's like,
very gray.
It's okay. It's very gray. I do fucking love the Haro, the new Haro though.
Mm-hmm. With the beanie.
I like to think with the beanie. I do. And he has speakers in his head. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see it.
He's got like a little subwoofer in his head.
That's funny.
Like later in the movie with the hats, after they give the hat to our main gal, she like you see under the hat, and it's like these two speakers, and I'm like, oh man, I think Amuro made it. Like he made it big. He got like, made his bank by selling the Haros. Instead of building them for Frau or something like that. But this is what I was talking about, the IMAX poster. This is a lot more indicative of the show's style, I think.
Very much, yeah.
No clue who this gal appears. Not an idea. But yeah, so that is sort of our overview of GQuuuuuX. I mean, I guess the only other thing to really say about it is the flippin' name. We haven't even talked about the name.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Which has a brave and dedicated Redditor, salute to you, sir, compiled a whole list of things that this means. I could rattle them off for you right now, and I will rattle them off, and I don't know. I know.
Let's hear it.
All right. I'm just going to read the post. I take no credit for this post. This post belongs to Osaka None. Osaka None, I guess. I hope that's how I pronounce it. It's all one word smashed together. It's like 7 layers of jokes based on its meaning, its pronunciation, its use, and where it was popularized. QuuuuuuX means it's the 6th variant of a line as a metasyntactic variable. I read it right. Syntactic. Tactic, I guess. Syntactic variable. It is often used as a placeholder name, popularized by Stanford University, which is what they say in the movie. Like, that's straight up what they say in the movie. It's just a placeholder name, which was a little disappointing, but made a world of sense. This was popularized by Guy Steele. Gundams are steel guys. Steel, Steele, is 1 letter removed from seal. Substituting letters, adding, removing, is common in Japanese wordplay. I think this is a stretch, unless something psycho frame letter T. This is where I start to fall off. I'm like, I don't know what the heck we're talking about anymore. No. The name pronounced in Japanese is GQuuuuuX, becoming Sieg Axe or Zeke Axe. This one has already come true, given it's armed with an axe. Which, like, he even misses. Like, it's a Xeon axe. Yeah. Like, it's a Zaku axe. Drops that ball right here, man. It can also be pronounced as G-quarks, relating to subatomic physics in other dialects.
I don't get that one.
Well, I get it, like a quark. I think, and we'll get into the plot, I really do think there's some meta science physical nonsense happening. We're doing an Anno thing. Anno is part of this show, and I think we're doing Godzilla is the universe that he had down for Shin Godzilla. The fucking new types are the universe. Here we fucking go.
All right.
The rest of these, you got a Quix is the opposite of a crux. The first and easiest part, not the last and hardest. QuuuuuuX is the ISO C639 code for Yuyao's Chincha Quechua, which is a Peruvian language. I don't really know what the heck that is, but like, I mean, I know what the language is, but I don't know like what the relevance there is, but cool. In radio navigation, it refers to navigational warnings. Q refers to electrical charge, U means potential velocity, and X denotes the length of waves of X-rays and gamma rays, inferring nuclear power.
Whoa.
Top comment. Once again, the Ava team builds accidental lore/references into something they made, but when asked why, replies with, "It sounds cool." Which is what I think this is. I think it's like, sounded neat. They probably read the Stanford University one and were like, that'd be fun. Let's call it that. It has 5 Qs, maybe. How many does IMDb say it has? It has 1. Shit, that's a picture. Yeah, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, according to IMDb.
Oh, no.
There are 6 in the poster. The last one's tucked behind The second to last. They're all like tucked behind each other. They're gonna. Okay, before we get into the plot and whatnot, do you think they're gonna change the name of this show, like they did with Captain America and the Winter Soldier or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like the Falcon one. Yeah.
I think it's too late at this point. They've brought the movie out. Mean,
it was literally the last episode of that show, so.
Well, true.
Like at the end, we're gonna get a title card where it'll be like GQuuuuuX, and then it'll just like change the quacks to the proper name, and it'll be something weird like G Quasar or something like that. I don't fucking know.
What if it turns out this is all set in the like post-original Evangelion series?
Oh my god.
This is all just a product of that.
So you're positing that Third Impact happens and then everyone's goop, but then we just started over. The goop becomes people again. To which I would assume 79 years later, Char Aznavour, a.k.a. Kazval Daikun, steals the Gundam, has his buddies paint it red. I loved that they were just like, we thought you'd like it better if it was fucking red and pink. Yeah. That part to me was like the most... Like, so, okay, for those of you who have not watched our version of Mobile Suit Gundam Abridged, our Char absolutely would be like, this needs to be painted red. I mean, Nate does the voice, not me, but it would be, why isn't it red? Like, paint it red. Take all the time in the world to paint this red. I don't care if it loses the war. If you've watched any of the other versions of him, he's not exactly the kind of guy that would do that. No. If he has the time, I think. I mean, Zeta, he's rocking like a gold fucking mobile suit, which one could argue is just it's a cool looking fucking suit.
Yeah.
But it's a little gaudy. It's a little much.
I mean,
like if red was a little much.
Yeah.
The red is, but then you go, I need to stay inconspicuous as Quattro Bagina. Big gold ass fucking shiny polished mobile suit. Like, god damn it, dude. But anyway, I love how, like, in this, they're like, what if Char was kind of like, no, there's a reason I pick red. I like red. I appreciate the effort to make this not look like what I found. Oh, God. But yeah, I think that hits our... I mean, is there anything else you want to say before we enter into spoiler territory here? Because that's kind of what we're building to, is like, we're going to talk the plot. So... after whatever Nate has to say, spoiler warning up front. If you want to watch QuuuuuuX, either the show or the movie, before getting spoiled for you, pause this and come back later. Okay.
Are we safe?
I think we're safe. I think they're gone.
All right.
All right, cool. So Amuro's alive. No, it turns out Char is Amuro's father. No, that was not in this movie. But QuuuuuuX. So let's talk the plot.
Let's talk.
This movie opens like we said, it opens exactly like the original show. Like the straight up. Yeah. I wouldn't even be shocked if they got the same announcer. I didn't watch the original show in Japanese. I don't know. But I mean, like, it is beat for beat the original show. Even down to the semi-janky colony drop scene.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's, like, literally, like, colony.png just being dragged across the screen.
Yeah. But I really appreciated... It was basically shot for shot, but in a lot of ways it was a little more clever, like... When Char entered the cockpit of the RX-78, he said the same thing as Amuro, but it came up from a slightly different occasion, you know? It wasn't just one for one.
They did a really good job. I agree. They did a really good job getting getting Char and any other character where they needed to be without it being like too contrived. Like the most contrived thing was that Gene Zaku was just broken, and that's why Char went. That's it. Like that's the whole reason he's even there. But for like an alternate timeline what if scenario, that kind of works because that's just like a subtle difference that totally could have happened, right? Like, we didn't finish fixing Gene Zaku, so you know, Commander Char or Lieutenant Commander Char is going to go. And it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But at the same time, I want a t-shirt. I want a t-shirt of that frame from the original show when Gene dies and he's screaming. I only know this because I watched our episode the other day again. I played it like 3 times in a row. That scene plays like 3 times in a row in the episode where he's just screaming. But I want a t-shirt of that, and I just wanted to say Gene was right. Because everything he says Char would do, he does in this. And it works.
You're right. I forgot that Gene suggested they do exactly what Char did.
Yup. Go watch the abridged version if you want a shorter, funnier version. But I didn't change that. All the plot points are still there. Gene says, "Do you know something to the effect of like, do you think that this is what Char? You know, don't you think Char had to take risks to get where he is? That kind of thing." And implies to like the Sarge, yeah, like this is what Char would do, and I'm looking up to him, and like we're gonna do this. Where he fails is when he's just mindlessly blowing up mobile suits. And he sees them all, he just keeps blowing them up, as opposed to when he sees the ARC-78. Char does, and he sees it, and he goes, oh, hold on a minute. That's something worthwhile here. Let me get out and go over there. And that is kind of where the big real pivot point is that Char is a bit smarter than Gene, and like actually goes, hold on. I can upgrade myself right fucking now and like wipe the floor with their own fucking Gundam. I was more shocked that we don't see anyone else. Like, we don't see Amuro running around and Frau and everybody, because theoretically, those things would have still happened. Like, this is where I'm curious, what happens to everyone else? Because you said it, like, this is only 5 years later. We're not even in Zeta territory right now. That's 10. That's another 5 years later. So everybody is still alive, still more or less young. What the fuck happened? Like, what happened to Amuro? What happened to Frau? What happened to his dad? Because Char doesn't blow up the gym like Amuro does, where he blows up Gene and it makes that nuclear explosion. He even goes, like you said, like they have those subtle bits where he even says, if I just slash him, it'll destroy the colony, and I'm not going to do that. So he does just go straight to the stab, which again was cool because they used the exact same shot type setup. Stabs the gym. I think it's a gym. Stabs it. It goes down, and the pilot's dead. And then he makes out with the mobile suit. So I'm curious, like, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get to see them? Do you think we're going to get to see any of these other characters? And 2, what the hell do you think they're doing?
I think we are, and I think in fairness, didn't we hear the dad at least? Because we still got the who's that in the Gundam line or whatever.
I think we did. Yes, I know that because I laughed at that scene too. Because I leaned over to Amber and I said, I don't remember putting headcanons in the Gundam. Because that, you're right, is the same shot where Char is walking, shooting the Vulcan cannons out the head of the Gundam. But so you're right, he's alive, and he didn't get sent out into space, and theoretically, they just left with the Gundam. So a lot of people didn't die. Side 7 doesn't get functionally abandoned as like a like it's just was attacked, and then the Zeons go on to win the war. That's why I think Amuro sold the Haros and just was like, I gotta make a living somehow. And that's why, like, our main character's friend has one. Because he says, at least in the show, that he built Haro for Frau. So I would assume there's only one. And then in Zeta, they're like, they recognize a Haro, which ends up being the Haro, but it sounds like I think Amuro's making some moves. I think he's a very well off kid because he's built these fucking toys. But that's my theory. Well, what do you think? Like, what do you think's going on?
No, I think the same. The friend I went to see GQuuuuuX with had the same theory that Amuro in this timeline is just selling Haros.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, so I do think that that's where we're going to see Amuro, and that's ultimately what he's up to. It's just hard to see where they're going to go with this plot-wise, and how the
I agree.
Char's initial plan ties into the kid wanting to get into the underground fighting ring sort of plot that it moves into.
Yes, that was really where this movie started to lose points for me. Was we build up, so the latter half where the alternate timeline stuff diverges very heavily is that because of the Gundam, Zeon starts to like produce a ton of like hardcore new type shit that allows them to essentially psychically control. Kind of, they have that in the show. The like, I think Lala was like controlling something that allowed her to like fire weapons essentially and control them from a distance because of psychic new type powers or something. They do that and they give like these giant raspberries to the red now Zeon Gundam, and Char can control them like with his brain, which is where GQuuuuuX is so special because it's like the fully realized version of that, I guess. Basically it's like, you can pilot it with your brain. It's kind of like you get into like Pacific Rim territory. It's kind of reminds me of like the Drift, where it's just like, yeah, we plug in and like you feel it as opposed to just like commanding it to move around. It's more intuitive. But then I thought this was baller because we get Commandant Joaquin in the last ditch effort of the Federation, who's just like, fuck it. If we're not gonna win, no one's gonna win, and takes their like asteroid base and beelines it for like the capital city on the moon.
That was cool.
I think it's the Von Braun city or whatever, and is just like, I'm just gonna crash it. Like, fuck these kids. I'm done. We're done. No one gets to win. And like it's like a sort of an interesting thing because this is where Shark has to make his move, and he's like, I have a plan. Like, I'm going to have it sort of kind of succeed. Like, I'm going to come up with a really genius plan and then make that plan fail so that I finally kill all the zombies and then ultimately it can like take over Zeon. Like in the wreckage, he kind of does like Char's counterattack a little bit, right? Like after all this war and fighting, I'll come in with a fully ready to go like military group and just take everybody over for the good of the space noids. I really thought that's where this was going. I genuinely thought that was going to work.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. He gets poofed. Out of nowhere, he gets poofed into rainbows.
Yeah.
And sent 5 years into the future. Or maybe, I don't know. His Gundam did.
Yeah.
What did you think of that twist, Nate? Because I'm still struggling to like reconcile it in my brain.
Yeah, same here. I don't know where they're gonna go with it. I like the idea of Char winding up as like a urban legend, but then they went back on that entirely and made it a different person in the suit.
Yeah, that was, and that I really think that unfortunately, this movie was losing points when the movie became the show that's supposed to come out. Like, I liked the Char stuff in the beginning better. I will say that was my favorite part. My favorite part was the first half of this movie. And like part of it was fan service, but other parts of it was like, oh, this is actually like really cool. Like, we're really exploring new types. We're really going into like, what are they actually capable of doing? And how does that translate? Like, I really did like, I'm a sucker. I'm also a sucker for what if scenarios. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love me a good what if. Like Marvel comics, when they do the what ifs, tons of fun. Like, lots of fun to me. Maybe it's just because it's like just speculating and it just usually goes balls to the wall and goes crazy and it doesn't mean anything, so it's cool. But this was just neat to see because it's like, yeah, like, so I edit our videos for Gundam Abridged, and like I end up knee deep in this footage, constantly watching the same like 5 frames over and over and over and over and over. So a lot of that beginning stuff, I was just like, oh my god, I know exactly where like this fucking shot when Char is looking with the binoculars at side 7 in like the town.
Yeah.
And like the way it's tableaued, the way they move, everything, I was just like, oh my god, like this is exactly. So I was geeking out, just appreciating the hell out of everything. But then they got into some cool stuff. Like I think Kycelia or whatever has had fucking Lala under like experiments. I think she was experimenting on Lala. That's where the rainbows came from. It's either Lala or it's Amuro. And running like crazy fucking new type experiments on them.
Yeah.
And that's why everything went ape shit. That or the Federation was. Because I think it was on the rock when that happened. So that was the Federation's rock. So I guess it would have been... I think she was either aware of it and trying to catch up, or the Federation was experimenting on either Lala or Amuro, which would make some sense with Amuro. And he just like triggered... let's just copy Stargate SG-1 Ascension and ascended into the Rainbow Realm. At the same time, Char gets triggered because of the same thing, because he's right there. And then he goes off too. Like he just disappears which for some reason... I think we're getting into big Anno esoteric territory. I'm going to go off here for a second, if you don't mind, sir.
Oh, please.
I think his version of the new types is sort of this like... It's like Q from Star Trek, like Next Generation. How like the Q continuum is like a single thing, but then also multiple entities at the same time. And I think that's what new type, like the true ascension to new type is you kind of become into this like godhead unified sentience, so to speak. Because Anno loves this unified sentience. Shin Godzilla, fucking Evangelion. Like, and how many Evangelions are there? There's like what, 3, 4 movies, and then the TV show. I mean, and then end of Evangelion. I mean, he loves him some unified hive mind godhead stuff. I think that's what the new types are. I think Amuro's the first one to hit it, because I'm realizing that it could have been Lala. It still could be Lala, but Lala or Amuro, probably Amuro, because I think it was the Federation, hit it. And then Char got pulled in, and they're both just sort of like watching time and space from beyond it all. And they're like, okay, we need to kind of fix time to make the original Universal Century happen, but like do it the way it's supposed to, right? Like, go, okay, how do we get it to be how the best version of itself, right? And that's going to involve sending, like, there's a message now. The red comet is like a thing. So they're like, okay, let's send in the Gundam, but we're going to have this really spacey motherfucking artist guy like pilot it. We can't send Char. That's not the right thing, because they know Char's counterattack already happens in the original timeline, right? Like they're omniscient now, or omnipotent now, whatever you want to call it, and they're just like playing with the timeline. Meanwhile, our main character is kind of beginning to touch that power, because she's like super mega gifted new type. And I think they've just for the past 5 years been like pushing new types to become even more new type-y than they were 10 years out in Zeta. Because in Zeta you start getting like cyber new types and shit, and they're like artificial. I think this is basically cyber new types, but they're like natural because of the whole Xeon thing. That's my theory with this. I don't know if you agree.
I do.
Many people probably don't. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
One person agrees with me.
I wish you'd seen Witch from Mercury.
I need to watch it.
I don't want to spoil something, but there is something kind of related. but I don't want to give more away.
Well,
it's a
if
big
we
spoiler.
do choose to cover this show in more detail as it comes out, wink, wink,
Wink.
I will make sure to watch it. Maybe take a break from Zeta and watch it, because I'm only on episode I'm about halfway, maybe episode 30. And I had been not avoiding Witch from Mercury, but I was just really I really want to watch UC Timeline. And then I was oh, Witch from Mercury is only 25 episodes. I thought it was 50, because they're all 50.
Outside of Oath.
Yeah, that one's what,
12,
6?
I think.
12? Yeah, it's not, that one was short. That one's no problem. But usually, they're all usually 50. And I'm oh, this is going to be 50, and I want to watch it, and everyone tells me I should watch it, but I got to make time, and I want to finish kind of this run. Because I was originally trying to finish at least Zeta, because they're re-releasing Char's Counterattack in theaters, I think next month.
Oh, sick.
And I was I want to go see that, but I want a little bit more context. I did not like the Zeta movies, I don't know if you've seen them, but
I haven't.
So it's Zeta, but it's half original animation and then half brand new animation, and it really, really shows. It was made in 2012, so both look good on their own, but they're super dissonant. So they just clash every time a new scene comes up, and I'm I don't like this. This is distracting. I also heard they change the plot and stuff. Yeah, it's not fun. It's cool, looks cool, but it just wasn't. I'm sure people dig it. I'm sure people can turn off and watch it. That's fine. But I was I'll just deal with the 50 episodes of Zeta and move forward. Don't think I'm gonna get through Double Zeta. I don't know if that's a good one. I've heard mixed things. But I've also heard I don't need to watch any of this except the first show to kind of get Char's Counterattack. But all of that is to say, I might just take a break and watch Witch from Mercury if it's going to be significant to this, especially because that's the vibe I get from the show. I get similar vibes stylistically from these, even though I know next to nothing about Witch from Mercury, other than it's a female protagonist and maybe Mercury's involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. You'll like it. I don't want to spoil anything.
Don't spoil it. I will watch it, and maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we just start talking about Gundam shows we watched, because we're so fucking invested in Gundam now, and we didn't plan on it.
Speaking of investment in Gundam, we could also talk about the Gunpla.
Oh, yes.
The new model kit. My friend had it and showed me it, and it does look a lot better in person. I think it's all very organic, very human. You can fold it up into a ball. It can hug its knees to itself.
Whoa.
And the weird U-shaped kind of thing that's jutting out of its back?
Yeah.
That is apparently a separate pod, in a ship.
Oh, it's oh my god, a core fighter.
It's
it has
a core fighter. That's
fighter
the word
thing.
for it.
That's cool as shit. Yeah. That's fucking awesome.
So
I like that the Zeons kept that functionality in their Gundams. I love the idea of the core fighter. I think it's nifty. I think Zeta does it better, where it's just a fucking transformer. I think that's cooler and more functional than dropping, the pieces to the larger Gundam. But I love me some core fighter. It currently sits in my RX-78 from Gundam Base. It came with a core fighter, but you either put it in as the core, or you have a faux core that goes in there, and the little jet can sit on its side. And I'm why would I not want the core in there? That's so silly. So I never see it because it's always in there. But yeah. No, that's true. I tried to find that one at my local shop the other day, and they were we sold out of those the second they hit the shelves. The second they posted on Instagram, they were gone. And I was damn. And apparently they're not coming back for a minute. So we'll see if I ever manage to get one.
I'm sure.
But yes, the plot of this movie, because we have gone geeking out on this, continues with the second half where we've gone on and on about the first half, of course, and it's great. You could watch this movie alone, just that part, and you'll be super fucking stoked about it. I'm sure they'll release it as like a mini thing, maybe, because it is weirdly important to the plot. But the second half, where we go full on Fooly Cooly, and we're like, boom, inside 6 in 5 years out, we have our main girl named Amate. Wow, there's only 3 people listed in this cast. That doesn't seem right. That's better. Oh, nope, there's just 3 people credited in this cast. That's kind of weird, IMDb. Way to fail there. But Amate, she's like this, like I said, she's like this impulsive girl, but also kind of like blissfully just wandering around. Ends up like seeing the future or some shit. She gets involved chasing this other girl who's like stealing, what do they call them? It's some kind of like little it's like a hard drive. It looks like a hard drive, but it lets the mobile suits be weapons again, because they've like sold all the Zakus and shit to regular people, so they can just like do regular people things, like pick up garbage and stuff with them. I don't know, like cops have Zakus. Like, it's an interesting concept that seems like the worst idea any government ever could fucking have. Especially because it's like, if you get this thing, it like, you know, I think I loved it like when they pilot that Junker Zaku, when GQuuuuuX is fighting the Red Comet Gundam, and it just like, its eye goes from like blue to pink, and it's just kind of like kill mode engaged, like I'm gonna kill him now, and then the cops are like, its eyes are red, it's fucking turned on, like kill it. I loved the little thing like that. Like, it was such kind of goofy, and of course they get their ass fucking handed to them, which leads our main character to get into the fucking GQuuuuuX, and she drifts with it. Or whatever it is. Her and the Haro, the white Haro, get in the GQuuuuuX, drift with the GQuuuuuX, and then kick the ass of the cops and run away or something like that. And then it's like, and this is where the show. So they build up Quackers. Quackers is a big deal. It's the super duperiest Gundam ever made. Trademark. And then they're just like, this girl has it. Oh, she's using it for underground Gundam or mobile suit fighting. Okay. We'll see how this goes. Like the Zeons are just like, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Like, neat, I guess. It had a very like Arthurian, like, you know, or like she was just, the sword chose her, and we don't have a choice. She has to, you know, like she's gonna use it for whatever she wants. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right to me here. That it started losing me a little bit there. Like, it's cool. I like the idea of this. You know, I have this badass Gundam, and they're gonna do I mean, it's G Gundam at that point. We're just doing G Gundam on a smaller scale. Fucking love it.
Always down.
I love it if she's like, my hand is burning. I feel this strong desire to defeat you.
Just hoping for a windmill Gundam. Just one.
Oh my god. Just one Windmill Gundam. Yeah. Or we'll get some GQuuuuuX looking Tequila Gundam, finally. Oh, like,
we need it.
Imagine it.
In whatever
Instead of the like unibrow going into horns, it's like pops out, and like a little thing comes up, and it's a sombrero.
Oh, I can see it now.
I see it in my mind's eye, and it's like, I just need it. I need it. It's just this funky, organic looking ass Tequila Gundam. Mm-hmm. We can dream. But yes, so that's kind of what it is. I think, in my opinion, it is very thin, the rest of the plot, because she kind of kind of interacts with this rainbow godhead beyond thing we've been talking about. Like, Char gets zapped into somewhere and it's all rainbows, and then she gets zapped into somewhere almost and it's all rainbows, where she meets what, I don't remember his name, the like spacey hippie kid who paints the rainbows, like he graffitis the rainbows, and it was like, okay, like, and he, plot twist, he's the guy who flies the fucking red comet Gundam. Like, he just has it, doesn't told us where he got it, he just fucking has it. And they're like, okay, all of our underground death matches are buddy systemed, so you need a buddy to go into the death match, which ends up being him. And everyone's just like, that's not Char, so it's not important. And I'm like, he still has the Gundam. Like, the only one, I assume, anyone ever made. This ain't making anybody have red flags. Pun absolutely not intended.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if we're going to get more into... I like your theory about maybe they're holding and experimenting on Lala or Amuro at the beginning, and maybe we're getting more into the weirdness of new types.
It's Anno. We got to be getting in the weirdness. I mean, what's the point of having him on board if you're not going to get weird?
Well, that's true.
I mean, I think his theory for Godzilla and Shin Godzilla, like when he wrote out kind of the progression, was that Godzilla ultimately like just continues to expand and evolve and becomes literally a new universe within the universe. Like, it gets, guys, go look it up. I don't do it justice. It gets trippy as hell. Of course, you don't see that in the movie because they stop Godzilla before he gets to the people phase. But, like, spoilers for Shin Godzilla, by the way. Whoops. It's like a 10-year-old movie. And if you're here to listen to us talk about a Gundam movie, you probably have already seen it. But yeah, that is the guy we have at one of the helms of this. I think he wrote the screenplay for the show or for the movie, but I can see some influence there. But yeah, who knows? I mean, I think what it'll be like Lala is in captive with the Zeons, and then the Federation has Amuro, or what's left of the, because I think this universe, the Federation still exists, right? They just lose and they're just kind of relegated to Earth.
That sounds familiar.
Because like Zeon never wanted, if I understood correctly, Zeon, at least during the show, never wanted to take over Earth. They were just like, we want to rule space because space noids are the future. And then, like, you guys stay on Earth. And that's kind of what Zeta drives home, is like this elitism of the people of Earth versus, it becomes like Expanse-like in a little bit, where it's like the people in space are lesser class than the people on Earth, a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's just sort of like, that's if I remember correctly, correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened, was like Federation's just on Earth. So who knows? Maybe they got Amuro and they're trying to recoup the loss here, but experimenting on the future or something like that. But yeah, I'm curious when this is, because this show's also got its dark turn set up. It's got to have, we cannot just be doing G Gundam and after all that crap in the beginning and expect me to just be like, yeah, that's fine.
No, yeah.
Even G Gundam had its freaky dark turn where everybody's evil and there's an evil monster Gundam on the moon, or whatever it was. So yeah, this has got to have its twist. There's got to be a twist. I wish there was more fighting. I hate saying it because it makes me sound like an idiot, but come on, it's Gundam.
No,
it's in the
right.
fucking name.
Yeah.
I wish we had more Quackers fights.
Well, and especially if the whole thing is going to be an underground fighting ring, you'd want to see a little bit more of it. Yeah,
because she kind of sucked.
Yeah.
She wasn't very good. Like, I mean, she won. That's fine. Like, of course you expect her to have that, like, training curve, but, like, the only fight we get of her full on in Quackers there was that final like sequence in the whole thing. It was like the last sequence of the movie where it's like she fights, she triggers what I will call the cheese and quackers mode, and then proceeds to get the axe and go ape shit on the Zaku's, which was cool, but like it just sort of ended. Like it was like, oh my god, we won, like we got monies, and then go watch the show in April, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess. I hope that was essentially episode like 1 and 2.
That was, yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, I want a little bit more character development. I want to see like what is her life like. Like, why the fuck does she want to go into the Gundam death matches?
Yeah.
Right. Like, what is so bland and boring that makes this girl go, yeah, what if, I don't know, I could die today. Let's just do that. Like, fuck off. Okay, what? But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. Overall, I liked it. I will outright say, though, I don't know if this is going to be one of my favorite Gundam shows. I also just realized we totally forgot to talk about the mustachioed gentleman, Char's like boyfriend man.
Oh yeah.
His like second, whatever they call it. Them two are the ones that developed this whole double fighting style thing, where you kind of have like your wingman, and then it's just like, I mean, you could argue that Tom Cruise did the same fucking thing with Top Gun, but sure, whatever. You have like your wingman and yourself, and you guys watch out for each other, but also fight in tandem. He's now elevated, still captain of the not so white anymore base, which I think has a different name. I don't remember what the name was, but it's green. Of course, they painted it fucking green. The amount of paint the Zeons spend after they assault Side 7 is just ridiculous. They're just like, we got to paint this whole mobile suit for no fucking reason. This pretty colorful and white base. We're gonna, which I think it was just white in the show. Like, I don't even think they had the color parts on it. They're like, paint it puke green. We got to have it green. Can't be as green as the Musai, and it can't be the same green as like the Papua, but it's got to be some kind of green, and there's only so many nice greens left, and it is nasty looking to me. It looks like it got thrown up on. But yeah, so he's in the show. He's around. I don't know. Is it? What did you get did you get any of the vibe from this guy? Like, you think he's going to be important, or
I mean,
is he just there to set up?
Yeah,
I hope so.
They've got to do this because
he's got his own
Rim thing.
Oh yeah, you know what? He's their Captain Paolo. Because he's, for some reason, the Zeons are like, yeah, we're just going to put a bunch of children on the not so white base. Which is what I'm calling it from now on. I'm calling it that. I don't know the name. I don't care what the name is. It's the not so white base.
What do you want to bet at some point either main character or artist kid ends up drifting with that guy? Mustachioed original guy. Like having to at some point.
Yeah. Because I feel like they now have a lot of like new type psychic-y mind reading interrogative shit, maybe. So they're like, he's gonna, we're gonna call it drifting, because it's essentially what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna drift, and he's gonna be like, why do you feel like Char? But like, it's not, right? Like, he's not Char, but he might be inhabiting his spirit might be inhabiting his body or something. Yeah, because that's what they say in Zeta about Lala. Like, Char calls, spoilers for Zeta. There's like a sequence where Char calls out Amuro, and he's like, you're too fucking pussy to go into space, Amuro. And Amuro's like, no, I just don't want to go. And he's like, no, I know why you're afraid, because you know that's where Lala died, and you know, in this like esoteric way, her spirit is still there, and if you go back into space, you're going to like be connected to her again, and that scares the shit out of you. And I'm like, this just sounds like a lot of talking around PTSD, but what if it was literal?
Yeah.
Right? Like, in this, what if it's literal? So Char still exists, but he's in the spacey artist kid.
No, I think you're right.
Who had his own off-brand Haro, right? He had like a little box.
Oh, yeah.
On his head. He had like a little robot. not Haro. I don't got a clever name for that one. We'll figure something else out. Naro. Yeah, it's hard to talk more about the characters because they are in the GQuuuuuX end of things because they're very under characterized. They're all kind of just like that very anime superficial level of like, this one's the spacey one, this one's the impulsive one, this one's the nervous wreck one, this one's the leader one, this one's the smart one, and like they're very like one-dimensional in this. And I'm confident they're going to change that because I don't think I've ever seen a Gundam show where there wasn't a multi-dimensionality to the characters. I mean, even G Gundam has like a degree of like, there is something to these characters more than I pilot big robot, and beat people up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not in this movie. And so it's difficult to get hyped about that part.
Yeah. I kind of wish they just extended the first part and made that the movie. And then just waited for the series to start.
I big agree. I think if we got a little bit more highlighted what ifs of like 0079 and the 1 Year War, and then you kind of throughout you sprinkle in kind of this super psychic power Gundam stuff, and then by the end you have the showdown on the moon and all that stuff. Maybe start with like the introductions to the GQuuuuuX characters, and then be like GQuuuuuX coming in whatever April 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Just as like kind of a hype. I mean, obviously don't advertise it like you're going to show the show, but like have that little bit of hype going, like this is the setup. We've set you up for this. Because I feel like that, or you got to do less Char stuff. Like, don't have that middle section where he gets the raspberries. Like, just go straight to the second, like the Federation colony drop on the moon. Have that shit happen and give me a little bit more with the characters of GQuuuuuX. That's what I'm here for anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thought. I mean, I agree with you. It's your thought. I agree with you. That's, I think, where it should have gone. Any other points you wanted to talk about with GQuuuuuX?
Not that I can think of yet. I think, like you said, it's kind of hard to talk about the new show because they didn't give us too much.
Yeah. I like the animation. I like the style. I know we talked a little bit about it. I do like the style.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little jarring, but I think like on its own, it's a cool style to go with. I like how everything's round and kind of like more fluid feeling. Like it feels smooth. It doesn't feel like, again, like old school animation from Japan is very stilted and like, oh my God, like I was editing what is, I believe, episode 9, which is probably going to be out by the time you guys hear this. And good Lord, the number of times they reuse the same fucking animation over and over and over and over and over. It's starting to wear on me because I was ready to go get scenes where I was like, oh, Bright has a line here. I might just go get that shot of him doing this because it makes more. Oh, they used it. Oh, never mind. I don't have to go find it. That's just the one they use. And it gets. I think until they get to Earth, they really started stretching the budget, and they were like, "What can we rip from the first 6 episodes of the show?"
That's funny.
And it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's a great show. It's honestly it's one of those. It's one of those like seminal fucking animes, but it's just funny because it's also how they chose to animate the first half of this movie, and then you get the nice fluid artistic thing, and it's like, this feels really weird because I was spent like half an hour adjusting to the stilted kind of chunkier animation. It's fine, but it was weird.
Yeah.
But I am excited for the show. I think it'll be cool. Are you excited for the show? Like the actual show?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it'll just be worth it for the aesthetics of it all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless it becomes... I think the only... See, I said that about Turn A. Because I thought it was kind of a neat idea, this, like, steampunk meets giant robots thing. And I am a sucker for Turn A. I love the mustache guy. Like, like it's just great. Like, I think the design of Turn A is fantastic. I know that's not necessarily the most popular opinion I have, but I think it's great.
Well, you know who did the designs, right?
Wasn't it the original guy?
No. Turn A was one that was actually designed by an American designer. You told me about this. The guy that designed for Tron and Blade Runner, I think
Alien, right?
Let me see.
Or he was like trying to be inspired by like H.R. Geiger or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you see it with the Moon Men's mobile suits. You see like it that weird. I mean, GQuuuuuX kind of has a similar vibe.
Sid Mead.
Like to the Sid Mead.
Yeah. He designed for Blade Runner, Aliens, and Tron.
Ooh.
And then Turn A. And the other thing, it's funny that Turn A was never really released in America because the other big person there is the woman that did the soundtrack. Immediately after this, did the soundtrack for Cowboy Bebop. That was her next project. So, like, it has everything to be super big in America because it was directly Ghibli inspired too.
Very. Oh man, that is. I'm glad to hear that because to me, I was like watching this. I mean, visually, I'm like, hell yeah, this is like a Ghibli movie with Gundams. But I didn't want to assume because I felt like it was kind of like, oh, well, not every fucking cozy Japanese piece of art means Ghibli. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Everything is in the country. We next to never see a major city and until we get to space. And then it kind of goes off in this other direction. And aesthetically, it just has that color palette. It's very Ghibli inspired. Mm-hmm. All of that is to say, it was kind of a fucking slog in the beginning of the show because it was cool, and then you're waiting for it to get more, and the whole time they're talking about this war, like it worked. What it was trying to do worked. And I get this. We will talk. You know, we're gonna do an episode on fucking. We're gonna do it. Let's just do fucking Gundam things. Let's talk fucking Gundam things because I'm like, we need to do an episode on Turn A. I have so many thoughts on Turn A. It's such like even the ending is so. I have so many mixed emotions about the ending.
Yeah.
And like, I know I'm supposed to, and it makes me mad because some motherfuckers deserve to die and they didn't. And I get that's the point, but I was fucking angry. But that's for another one of these episodes. So all of this long ass recording session and talking about quackers, Nate, can you give me a rating for this movie out of 10? And then, I guess any final thoughts you have? Like, do you think this is going to be like maybe one of your favorites? Do you think it's going to be like mid, as the kids say? Mm-hmm. Or do you think it's going to like actually like suck? Like we're going to be like blindsided. It's going to be terrible.
Definitely it's not going to suck. I'll say that. Well, okay. I shouldn't say that.
That was like famous last words. Famous last words.
But it's hard to say because, like, if we could cut it in half, first half, I'd say, like, 9 out of 10. Like, pretty much perfect. Wouldn't really change much of anything. Second half, we didn't really get a ton, so I'd probably say, like, maybe a 7. So maybe average it out to, like, 8 overall.
Okay.
What 8? About you?
Oh. I mean, I big agree. If you could... Oh, go ahead.
And as far as, like, I think it's going to be a good series. I don't think it's going to be as good as Witch for Mercury for me or as dumb fun as G Gundam.
Gotcha. No, I don't think it... I'll actually be very mad if it's dumb fun at all like G Gundam. I mean, it can have those notes. There is that. It honestly reminded me a little bit of Full Metal Alchemist tonally, because you have kind of this serious thing going on, but then you get kind of the classic animation of like we're little like chibi versions of ourselves ooh-ooing or something like that, right? Like when I think it was like I thought one of the funniest scenes. I don't know why it was so funny to me. I mean, it was supposed to be, but it was very funny to me. It was when the nervous wreck girl our main character and the spacey guy are there, and she's like, he'll be my second, and the nervous wreck girl is like, oh my god, he's so like dumb or something to that effect, and he's just going ba 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 ba. It's like a little chibi version, and she's like, oh my god, they're both so dumb, and then she like slides in and she's like ba 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 ba, and they're just like doing this like drooling idiot gag, and I'm like, I don't know, for me that was like such a stupid little joke, and it made me laugh. Like in the theater I was like, this is funny. It was very anime, and it just reminded me of those like whenever anybody called like Ed short in Full Metal Alchemist, and he gets like that, you're so working, making me, and his mouth is like moving up and down like that. It had that vibe, and I like that vibe because it does kind of undercut the constant potentially oppressive, maybe class struggle thing I think we're going with here, because everybody's pretty destitute. Nobody looks like they have a nice life inside 6. We'll see. But yeah, I liked that. I want to see more of that. But to your point, if I could split it in half, I'd have to split it in half. I think these feel like two separate movies to me. I mean, they kind of are, right? Like the animation changes halfway through dramatically. Well, not dramatically, but changes. It just feels like a different thing stitched to something else. I agree. I'd give the first half a 9 out of 10, maybe even 9.5. I think the only thing that threw me for a loop was the sparkle rainbow explosion where Char disappears, but that's like kind of a plot point, so like we'll see what happens. Loved everything else. Shameless fanboy. It was all fantastic. All the fan service stuff was fantastic. And it was like cool because they did make it a little bit more unique, like where he has this other guy and they're like kind of actively plotting against the Zabi family. Like I did like to see a little bit more of this is Char really, as opposed to in the other original show, he's kind of just like on his own, or maybe Lala knows, and like that's the only person that knows, and she dies, and like he just kind of enacts his plan. So that was cool. 9 out of 10, maybe even 9.5. GQuuuuuX, with what we saw, I think I give it, I want to give it a 7, but I don't think I can. Like I don't. I feel bad. I think it's like, I'll get specific. It's like 6.5, 6.7, just because there wasn't enough of it. A lot of it, I just very much remember feeling like, when the fuck are we going to get rolling with Quackers? Like we are dicking about with this Zaku. We're dicking about with this hard drive. And I'm sitting here like very aware of the time, because I looked up how long this movie was before I went, and I think it's like a flat 2 hours, if even that. This movie is, I will find out in a split second, 1 hour and 21 minutes. This is not even a 90-minute long movie. So I am sitting here like, okay, we burned so much time with that Char stuff. What's going to entice me to watch this show? And like it did. It looks cool. It's neat. But like I needed more for me to be really like, if all I saw was that like 30 minutes or so, I'd be like, I'll wait for season 1 to be done, or wait for it to kind of get 10 episodes in before I jump in on it, unless people are like really cool about it or something. But so I'm going to say, if we're averaging this, that makes it like a 7, 7.5. Yeah. I think, and to tell you, IMDb rates it as a 7.1. I actually just saw that now. I'm looking at the time.
Ooh. So,
yeah, wow. They're harsher on it than we were, which makes sense. We like Gundam. I imagine many of these people don't. I think I'll like it, though. I don't think it'll be my favorite. I could see it getting there, but I don't think it will be. I think I'm very critical of Hideaki Anno's work for some reason. Not in like a bad way, but just like I expect a lot from it. But I also see that it does like a lot of his, and I know he's not the main writer for this, and he's not even the director for this, but like I can see his influence here, and it's very like, is this just going to be another Eva? is this just going to be, which is kind of also like leads into Shin Godzilla, which is like, they're cool. Even Shin Ultraman has if you haven't seen that, like, that's a good movie. It's fun, but like, it has kind of a meld of the two. It's like Shin Godzilla light. It has that vibe though, that Anno vibe, except with Ultraman. So you get goofy Ultraman shit. All of them are good. It's just also like they're all kind of a theme. They're all, even like the rebuilds of Evangelion are like a similar vibe. To where, you know, if you like it, if you live for that, that's awesome. Mad respect. There are days I want that, but then sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I don't need my Gundams to get too. We are going to become the Godhead and bring all to all who live in space into ascension. Like that. I mean, that's my theory. That's what I'm worried about. But hey, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuX. The beginning. I'm sorry, beginning. There's no the. But yeah, we'll, you know, follow up, I guess, if there are any, if we do decide to watch future episodes, or maybe we just start kind of spending some time here talking about Gundam shows, especially between our, I think by this point, the Gundam Abridged Season 1 is done, so we are currently working on scripts for Season 2, as well as some other cool stuff, including maybe even some GQuuuuuX stuff, who knows? It's a little, I mean, I love your char too much to let this slide. I think, like, like we got to do something.
We'll have fun with it.
We have to. It's just right there. But I guess in the meantime, yeah, go check out whatever we happen to have going on in the future, as well as the stuff we've already done. You know, if you're sick and tired of robot mech suits, maybe go check out our fantastical, insanely low budget, filmed in a weekend show, Be Blue to Yourself, of the Blue Wizards from Lord of the Rings meets Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead. It's got 3 people in it and at least 9 characters. So, so make of that what you will. But that was a lot of fun. Or even see the first thing that we ever made is a trailer for a fictional film called Weird 2 Multiverse Al, as a sequel to the Daniel Radcliffe-led Weird Al biopic film Weird. Which is like a whole weird thing to say in and of itself, but that is the first thing we ever made, and it was fun. That is a fun. I still every now and then watch that trailer, and I'm like, that was so much fucking fun to make.
It was so
like
fun.
The graveyard, the graveyard shot. It just gets me every time. But yes, go check out our stuff, please. Tell your friends, and of course, like you said, if you like Gundam, you'll probably like Mobile Suit Gundam Abridged. Ours. I mean, you can like the other one. You can watch that too. That one's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But we're not here to tell you about that one. We're here to tell you about our one, which is newer and looks better. And that's maybe no, it's because I used the Blu-ray footage and they didn't have that yet because it's that old. That's how long ago it was. I think the dates on it are like 15 plus years ago, and I was like, oh my god. Geez. Yeah, and like you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, this is clearly like a DVD or like maybe even a VHS tape or some shit, and it's like, that's fine, that's what you had, go for it. But it's just funny to see how different the footage is from like what we have versus that. Sunrise did a hell of a job remastering that show, I'll tell you what. But yeah, so check out our stuff. Obviously, check us out on our socials. We got Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, of course, TikTok, because we make videos and that's a video platform. So yeah, go check that out. And until the next one of these things that we do, we've yacked about quackers. My name is Tom. Yakking about quackers. I almost want to like make that the title of this. It just will stop making sense after this.
Like Yakety Sax, but
Yakety Quacks.
Yakety Quacks. There we go. That's it.
Yakety There's the Quacks. Title. Trademark. Yakety Quacks. Copyright Dominator Pictures. Well, now we have to do the whole show. We got to do like every so many episodes a bit now. We came up with a title. Yakety Quacks. But it's QuuuuuuX. Anyway, until the next episode of Yakety Quacks, I'm Tom.
And I'm Nate.
And we are Tominator Pictures, and we will see you guys next time.